Firstly, we need to connect one layer to another layer in the timeline panel. Find the spiral icon, pick wipe icon and right-click the parent and link column. To attach the blue layer to the layer we using the drop-down menu and choosing the layer you want to be together. Other way easier called pick simply we click and drag to the layer that you want. Also, you can apply scale and rotation to show all the transform properties for the blue square and how it's relative to the transport value of the yellow square. This technique of parenting can be used in motion graphics and character animation.
Hey
We
everyone,
select
this
two
is Kyle
objects
Hamrick
into
from School
layer,
of
which
Motion,
is
and
going to
welcome to
be the
another
parent.
video in the Learn
The
from the
one
Pros series
who
on Adobe
control
After
and the
Effects.
child the follower.
Wrapping up my series on timeline
this
features,
case, the
in this
yellow
video
one
we'll be
will be
exploring
the
some of the
parent and the
structural
blue one the
complexity that you
child.
can
The
create
child
here
will
in
be
After
attached
Effects.
to the other
We actually
layer.
have the ability to link layers
We
together,
select
making
two
one
objects
follow
into
another as it
layer,
animates,
which is going
and there's
to
even
be
a
the
special
parent.
kind of layer
The one
specifically for this
who
purpose.
control and the
Let's
child
learn
the
about
follower.
parenting and null
In
objects.
this case, the yellow one will be the parent and the blue one the child. The child will be attached to the other layer. We select two objects into layer, which is going to be the parent.
You might want two or
The
more
one
layers to move in
who
the same
control
way at the same
and the child
time.
the
You could
follower.
keyframe both of them
In
individually,
this case,
but
the
that can
yellow
get pretty
one
tedious
will be
and
the
result in
parent
a lot
and
of
the blue one
unnecessary
the child.
keyframes.
The child will
Or
be
you may have
attached to
individual
the other
pieces that
layer.
need to move together as part of a larger element,
We
like a
select two
character.
objects into
The
layer,
perfect tool for
which
these
is going to
situations
be the
is
parent.
parenting.
The one who
Parenting
control
allows you to
and the
connect layers
child the
together
follower.
so that one layer will always
In
follow
this
the
case,
other.
the yellow one
Here I
will
have
be the
two
parent
squares
and
just
the
created
blue
from
one the
solid
child.
layers.
The
The
child
yellow
will be
one will be the
attached to
parent,
the
the
other layer.
leader, that I'll attach the other layer to.
We select
The
two
blue one will
objects
be the
into
child,
layer,
the
which is going to
follower,
be the
that will be
parent.
attached
The
to the
one
other layer.
who control
Right
and
now,
the
they're not
child the
connected in any
follower.
way, so any
In
adjustments I
this
make to
case,
their
the yellow
transform
one
properties are
will be
totally
the parent
independent.
and the blue one the child. The
I'll
child
just
will be
undo.
attached to the other layer.
In case your parenting column isn't currently
We
open, you
select
can
two
find it by
objects into
right-clicking
layer,
anywhere in
which
this
is
bar,
going to be the parent. The
Columns,
one
Parent, and
who
Link.
control and the child the
To attach the
follower.
blue layer, the
In this
child,
case,
to
the
the
yellow
yellow
one
layer, the
will be the
parent,
parent
we
and
can
the
do that
blue
by
one
using
the
this
child.
drop-down
The
menu right
child will
here
be attached
and
to
choosing
the
the layer
other
you want
layer.
to be its parent. Or you
We
can use
select
this little
two
curly
objects into
icon called a
layer,
pick
which
whip.
is going to be the
Simply
parent.
click and drag
The
to the
one
layer you want to
who
become this
control
layer's
and the
parent.
child the follower.
Now when I move the yellow
In
layer,
this
the blue
case, the
one comes
yellow
along
one
for the ride.
will be the parent
This also
and the
applies to
blue one
scale
the
and
child.
rotation.
The
So
child
now
will be
all the
attached
transform
to the
properties
other
of this
layer.
blue square are relative to the transform
We
values
select
of
two
its parent
objects
layer.
into layer, which is going to be
Its
the
scale
parent.
is still
The
set to
one
100 and
who
its rotation
control
is still set
and
to
the child
0,
the
but
follower.
you can see it's clearly a
In
different
this case,
size
the
than it
yellow
was
one
before, and
will
it's
be
no
the
longer on a
parent
straight
and the
angle.
blue one the child. The
Here's
child
another
will be
example
attached
where both
to
of
the
my
other
shapes
layer.
already have existing keyframes, but aren't yet
We
parented
select two
together.
objects into layer, which is going to be the
If I
parent.
parent the
The
blue
one
square to the yellow
who
one at the
control
first frame
and
of
the
the
child the
composition,
follower.
you can see it's now
In
orbiting
this case, the
around its
yellow
parent
one
and
will be the
continuing to move
parent
in the
and
way
the
it was
blue one
already
the child.
animated,
The
but
child will be
relative to the
attached
movements
to
it's
the
now
other layer.
inheriting from this parent layer.
We
I should
select
point
two
out that
objects
when you
into
parent
layer,
also
which is
matters
going to
because
be the
it's
parent.
inheriting these
The
new
one
relative
who
transform values
control
at
and
the
the child
frame
the
when you
follower.
create that parenting
In
relationship.
this case, the yellow
If I
one
had
will
instead
be
gone
the
to the
parent
middle
and
frame
the
of the
blue one the
composition, where the
child.
parent's
The child
scale
will
is
be
much
attached
smaller,
to the
and
other
then
layer.
parented the child to it, you can see we get
We
very different
select two
results.
objects into layer, which is going to be the parent. The one who control
Also, just
and
to
the
make sure
child
you
the
understand the
follower.
difference, I wanted to point
In
out
this
that
case,
most
the yellow
properties in the
one will
timeline
be
will
the
also
parent
have a
and
pick
the
whip,
blue one the
which you can
child.
use to
The
link them
child
to
will be
other
attached
properties
to
on
the
this
other
layer or
layer.
other layers using a type of code called
We select
expressions.
two objects
This is
into
a more
layer,
advanced
which is
feature,
going
and these
to be the
property links are
parent.
different from
The one
parenting, so just make sure you're
control
paying
and
attention
the
to
child
which
the
pick whip you're
follower.
grabbing.
In this case,
Sometimes
the
you may
yellow one
specifically want
will
to
be
move
the
a child
parent
to
and
its
the blue
parent's
one the
position.
child. The
If
child
that's
will
the
be
case,
attached
simply
to
hold the
the other
Shift key
layer.
while connecting the pick whip or using the
We
drop-down
select
menu,
two
and
objects
the
into
child layer
layer,
will
which
jump to
is
the
going
parent
to be
layer's
the
position.
parent. The one
All of this
who
is really
control
open to be
and
as
the
simple
child
or
the
as
follower.
complex as you want. You
In
can
this
parent
case, the
multiple
yellow
layers
one
to a single
will be the
layer,
parent
or you
and
can
the
create a
blue one the
progressive
child.
chain of
The
parented
child will
layers,
be
where
attached
each
to
layer's
the other
transform
layer.
properties are relative to its parent,
We We
and its
select two
parent's
objects
properties are
into
relative
layer,
to its
which is
parent,
going
and
to
so
be the
on.
parent, the one
As you may have guessed, parenting is the basis of rigging and animating many characters here in After
The yellow
Effects.
one will be
You
the
can see I have
parent
this
and the
character
blue one
separated
the
out
child.
into all the major
child will
body
be
parts,
attached
almost like
to
a
the
paper
other
doll.
layer.
This is also a good time to point out the importance of
select two
naming and
objects
color
into
coding your
layer,
layers,
which
which I
is going
explained
to
in
be
an
the
earlier
parent,
video.
the one
I've already
who
made sure
control,
each piece has
and
the anchor
child
point in the right
follower.
spot, where the joint would
In this
naturally
case, the
be,
yellow one
so now I can
will
start
be the
making my
parent and
connections.
the blue one the child.
I'll connect the
The
foot
child
to the
will be
calf,
attached to the other layer.
the calf to the thigh, and
We
the thigh to
select
the
two
torso.
objects into layer, which is going to be the parent.
Now if I change the
the one
rotation value on the thigh, you can
and
see
the
the other
child
leg pieces
follower.
come along for the ride,
In
and
this
I'm ready
case,
to
the
start
yellow
adding
one
keyframes to
will be
these.
the parent and the blue one the
By
child.
parenting all the
child
facial
will be
elements to the
attached
head
to the other layer.
and the head to the
We
neck
select two objects into layer, which
and the
is
neck
going
to the
to be the
torso.
parent, the one
Hopefully you can see how with some
the
time and
child
effort I've got all the makings of a fully
In this
animated
case, the
character
yellow
here.
one will be the parent and
After
the blue
Effects even
one
has
the
a
child.
special kind
The
of layer
child will
that
be
exists
attached to
mostly
the
just
other
for
layer.
these kinds of parenting setups.
We
You can see
select
here
two
I already
objects
have some
into
position
layer, which
keyframes
is
on these
going
two
to be
text
the
layers.
parent,
And if
the
I wanted
one
to adjust their
who
size and
control,
screen
and the
position,
child
it would be a
follower.
lot of work to make sure they stay
In this
lined up
case,
the
the
way I
yellow
want them to
one
be.
will be the
I
parent
can't really
and the
parent
blue
either
one
of
the
them to the
child.
other though,
The child will
because
be
the
attached
position
to
movements
the
they
other
both
layer.
already have mean that connecting them would
We
really mess
select
up the
two
work that I've
objects
done.
into layer, which is going to
I'll
be the
choose
parent,
Layer,
the one
New,
who control,
Null
and the
Object.
child follower.
A null object
In
is
this
visible
case, the
in your
yellow
viewer
one
panel, but
will
is
be the
not visible
parent
when
and the
exporting,
blue
so
one
it's
the
perfect
child.
if you need
The
a way to
child will be
adjust or
attached
animate
to
several
the
layers
other
all at
layer.
once, especially if they already have their own
We
animation.
select two objects
I can
into
parent
layer,
both of
which
these
is
layers to
going
my
to
new
be the
null,
parent,
and let's
the
go ahead
one
and give this a meaningful name,
control,
like
and the
Text
child
Mover.
follower. In this
Now I
case,
can
the
change
yellow
the
one
position
will
and
be the
scale of this
parent and
null,
the blue one the
even
child.
rotate
The
it,
child will be attached
even
to
animate
the
it,
other layer.
and those two
We
text layers
select two
continue behaving
objects
the way
into
I
layer,
want,
which is
relative
going
to
to
the
be the parent,
transforms I just
the
applied to the
one
null.
who control,
I've
and
given
the
myself
child
an extra
follower.
way to adjust and control
In this
everything
case, the yellow
without messing
one
up the
will be
existing
the parent
keyframes
and the blue
and in a
one
way
the
that hasn't
child.
added
The
any new
child will be
visible
attached
elements to my
to the other
composition.
layer.
Parenting opens up a
We
way to
select
create
two
more
objects
complex
into layer,
animations
which
without
is
needing
going
to
to
add
be the
nearly as
parent,
many
the
keyframes,
one
and is an essential part of
control,
leveling up
and
your
the
After
child
Effects skills.
follower.
Be sure to check
In
out
this
all the
case,
other
the yellow
videos in this
one
Learn from
will
the
be
Pro
the
series
parent
on
and the
Adobe
blue
After
one the
Effects.
child.
For
The child
Adobe
will be
Creative
attached
Cloud, I'm
to the
Kyle
other
Hamrick
layer.
from School of Motion. Thanks so much for
We
watching.
select two objects into layer, which is going to be the parent, the one who control, and the child follower. In this case, the yellow one will be the parent and the blue one the child. The child will be attached to the other layer. We select two objects into layer, which is going to be the parent,